morning and welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today. This is the Tacel and Applied Information webinar, our first live stream with our new partners, Tacel. But before we dive in, I want to send it over to some familiar faces, so our Tacel partners who are kind of hosting and leading us today. Gabor, you want to take it away and introduce the team, and then we'll dive into some smart city solutions.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Gabor here from Calgary, Alberta. I'm the regional manager of Tacel, taking care of Western Canada. On behalf of my colleagues and Applied Information, I would like to welcome you all in today's webinar. Our friends from Applied Information, Emily and Peter, will perform an outstanding presentation today, and my only suggestion is to pay attention to their words and invest those words into safety. Enjoy every moment. Dominic? It's your turn, my friend.
Hey, yes, my name is Dominic Correa. I am here representing the Ontario region for Tacel Limited. And I want to thank everybody for coming. I also want to give a great big thank you for Peter and Emily at Applied Information for bringing this webinar session. In my opinion, the Glance Smart City Solutions is so intuitive and so user-friendly. Connected vehicle technology is going to help improve pedestrian safety and also be such a benefit for emergency responders. I hope everyone enjoys the webinar, and I know I will. Sang?
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Sang, and I am the representative for the Montreal office of Tacel for today. Well, my two colleagues have very nice presentation. So, first of all, I want to thank you to everyone to be in here with us today. And yeah, hope you enjoy the webinar, and I will give back the show to Emily and Peter.
Thanks so much, guys. Yeah, we're thrilled to be here. We'll introduce ourselves. So I've got Peter Ashley here, our VP of Business Development and Smart City Guru. That's the title.
Hey guys, my name is Peter Ashley. As you can see, it is a festive day here. We are actually having our office party, and it was who can wear the best or worst sweater.
Tackiest sweater?
So yeah, anyway, so I'm part of it. Even for later, there's a pocket in here, just so everyone can see this.
We have no fun. I'm Emily Stanecki. I'm the business unit manager in our Canada region and get to work closely with our awesome new partners here at Tacel Limited. So we're so excited. I just want to give you guys a brief overview of what to expect. Thank you for joining the webinar. We want to keep this interactive. We're going to have a couple of videos, and Peter and I will have some discussion. We would love for you to take time to chat in any questions that you have. So there should be a little chat box, and we'll try to get to as many of those questions as we can. If we run out of time, no worries. We've got our great partners here alongside us that will make sure we follow up and connect with you all. So a little bit.
And one of the big things, just so everybody knows, you know, we're going to touch on everything very, very shortly. We just don't have actually enough time to go through everything. So the big ask that I have is, you know, if you guys see something of interest to you, set up a call, an individual call here where we can bring you in individually and really showcase everything that we have here at the IATL.
Yeah. I think that's perfect, Peter, and exactly, you know, kind of what to expect today is really just this high-level overview of our smart city solutions, Applied Information, Glance, Smart City Technology. So we're going to talk about a couple of examples. You know, one key one that we've got we'll show a video on, but Baton Rouge, you know, we know it's down here in the south, but they've done such an excellent job of implementing all of these different smart city applications. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but we'll also share kind of some of our friends in Canada and what we're seeing with the City of London. We're seeing the City of Regina. We've got Quebec City, so doing these large deployments. So we'll talk a little bit about what they're doing as well, and feel free to ask us questions. So we'll talk about that smart city technology as an overview. We'll talk about the IATL, the Infrastructure Automotive Technology Laboratory. That's where we're sitting. That's where Peter and I are broadcasting out of today. We'll do a little bit of a tour. We'll showcase our office just a little bit so you guys can see kind of the power that we have down here in the Atlanta area. We'll talk about 3 specific connected vehicle applications. So we're going to talk through preemption, emergency vehicle preemption, and we'll talk about priority and how we're doing that. We'll talk about our pedestrian safety and school zone applications and kind of how we're looking to improve school zone safety. And then we'll talk about our Travel Safely smartphone application. So something, real, tangible, connected vehicle technology that's available today. And then Peter will talk just kind of high level, I think, about the differences in CV2X Direct versus CV2X Network connected vehicle technology and how we can kind of bring all of this to life today. So I think with that, Peter, do you want to talk a little bit about big picture smart city technology? So Baton Rouge is kind of one of our leading examples, and what they're doing, how they did it, and then we'll also kind of showcase the video.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Emily. One of those things is, for us, it's what we try to do is create a platform that allows us to communicate not only to traffic signals, but also to emergency vehicles, to transit vehicles, to school zones. And Baton Rouge is just a large city that deployed this technology with us quite some time back. And we had a great chance to sit down with them and actually chat to them to find out why they went and did this. They got some funding from various different sources, and they actually, they implemented this over a 2-year period, but they've done, 480 traffic signals, they've done 100 emergency vehicles, they've done I think it's over 200 school zones, pedestrian crosswalks, so a lot of different technology that they've put in at quite a large scale. And we've done similar things to this in Quebec City,
right,
and City of London more recently.
I think of Quebec City being over 400 intersections that they've got this technology deployed in. Over, I think in Quebec it's over 100 vehicles. About City of London focusing more on transit signal priority as their first deployment, but again, over 400 intersections deployed, and we'll kind of show you guys what that looks like in our Glance Smart City Supervisory System, and then over 200 buses actually utilizing this technology. And then I think Regina, over in Regina, is preemption, so utilizing our preemption system. So we've got some great examples in Canada, and we're just excited to have you guys joining today to see how we can kind of partner with you and your cities to make this reality.
So with that, we're going to jump into a short video here on Baton Rouge just to show you what the technology looks like. It's easier to see when I actually go into a video like that. So I'm going to play a little video and let you guys see what they're doing in the city of Baton Rouge.
Our parish is unique because of its people. We have people from all over the world, but we still have our Louisiana culture that makes us Baton Rouge.
East Baton Rouge Parish is a transportation hub for a variety of places, including on the Mississippi River, where we have ships and ports, but also shipping from all over the country along I-10 and I-12 corridor.
For a city of our size, we're unique in the way that we approach new technologies, and we're always looking out for new and better systems and better ways to service the public and bring every little bit of efficiency out of the traffic signals and the systems that we have.
Well, since getting the cellular communications as part of the AI platform, we have been able to communicate with almost our entire signal system. That has changed the game for us in a lot of ways. One of the ways is that when there is an issue, we can respond rapidly.
Our new system communicates quickly to us, and we're able to change things as we need to. Sometimes children get out of school early, maybe because of weather or emergencies, and we're able to change that system as we need to.
We can fix problems from here on demand.
When we first saw it, it was literally just a black box. Like, you could do all kinds of things with this black box. Then it's grown into this great product that we are so happy to have.
We had help from AI and Temple, extensive help from Temple with the installation process, and AI was constantly available to help us configure the devices.
It's very important to the Baton Rouge Fire Department. We've got that preemption system that allows the traffic signals to change to green in order for us to better make it through the intersection more safely and get us to the cause quicker.
Technology is extremely important, especially when we think about emergency situations. And with the implementation of light synchronization, our EMS vehicles, fire trucks, law enforcement can easily go through a light when needed, when it's an emergency, and it helps expedite the situation.
It allows us to include and work on connected vehicles. As connected vehicles become more prevalent, this has created a way that we can cater to that need, and it's all of just a part of the AI platform.
We like the connected vehicle feature because it lets the public know that we've got a truck that's en route to a call on a particular route that we're on, so they're on the lookout for it.
We've always been interested in looking towards the future and trying to prepare for all of the new technological advances that are coming. We're in a golden age of new advances.
I've been around a long time, 35 years working for the city, and it's amazing to me what transition is taking place in technology. Certainly I believe it's going to be a big plus to us, but more importantly for the citizens. I look forward to the challenges and the pluses that we're going to have in the future.
Yeah, it's just great, hearing from a city like the city of Baton Rouge in terms of, what they're deploying there. And you can see that they've done it on quite a wide scale. And the key aspect actually with a city like themselves, they had 480 traffic signals. And roughly about 220 of those were on their fiber network. So they had communications to those. But then, they had roughly 260 of them that were not communicating at all. So they had a central ATMS system, but they couldn't connect to those devices. They couldn't actually do controller uploads and downloads. And deploying our preemption technology actually gave them the remote communications as well. So now they just have access to all of that information. So it really, provided the cellular communication as well as emergency vehicle preemption.
Yeah, I think, as we talk about this as a whole smart city solution, the benefits that we're able to offer through connecting these devices, whether it's a school zone or the intersection, and we'll talk about, school zones next, but, providing that monitoring, and health status capability, the true communications to your devices. So not just understanding the health of your devices or intersections or what's happening out in the field, but being able to control them remotely is really our bread and butter. That's what our system is built, and provides the capacity for cities to do, to get that remote communications and control when it's needed and necessary. So we've got, Peter, you want to show kind of what Baton Rouge looks like as a smart city, and then we'll talk about
I actually brought up a different one, which
is... Okay, London, a little more local for you guys.
So this is the city of London, where they've got 400 and something traffic signals, and they've started off by doing bus priority at all of the traffic signals, and then they're going to be adding in emergency vehicle preemption. So relatively a new deployment, but quite a large deployment in the Ontario region, which has given us sort of a nice deployment there. So maybe we want to go over to the...
Talk a little bit about the IATL maybe. Okay,
yeah.
So we'll give you a little bit of a more context for where Peter and I are sitting. So we are currently at the IATL. This is the Infrastructure Automotive Technology Laboratory. It really was a private sector-led kind of development. There's a whole backstory, but the short version is we realized that there was a gap between, the infrastructure and the automakers. And we created a space where we've got every single traffic controller right here behind us.
We got the coolest playground in the world.
And you're all welcome to come down here and play with us. But it's an open door facility. It's really, we would call it a dynamic, facility where we can test all of this technology no matter what type of controller is on the streets, no matter what type of preemption or priority you're trying to do, we're going to make it happen. We're going to test it here.
And the great thing with this area is you'll see that we've been provided traffic controllers from Trafficware, from Econolite, so we've got every type of Econolite traffic controller that's deployed right now. We even have like 170 controllers, and we've got all sorts of weird and wonderful variations of everything. So, we've got I want to say 100% of all the types of traffic
Right.
signal controllers there, and if it's not there, it's in the testing area across the way in our offices.
Yeah, and even more importantly, not only do we have the ability to work with this technology in the lab, we are sitting in the city of Alpharetta where we have over, I think it's 150 connected intersections now. So we don't just test it here in the lab, we get out in the streets and we actually drive it and experience it. So it's a living lab. It's a great space to kind of come and learn what we're doing or showcase. If you've got somebody, we've done all kinds of show and tell here. We've brought from high level, mayors and whomever needs to come be involved. Everybody's welcome. It's an open door. But I think, Peter, let's play the little video. It'll give you guys a good idea of kind of where we're sitting, the types of things that are available here, and the types of development that has come out of here. You'll see a little bit of work with Audi, I think, in this video, which was a key, component to why we wanted to develop this space.
Get ready for green.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Infrastructure Automotive Technology Laboratory. I'm Emily Stanecki and I'll be your guide through the world of connected vehicle technology. We're sitting here in the lab where we're dedicated to making connected vehicles work not only today but for our future. The IATL is the first facility where automakers and the transportation infrastructure are working together to accelerate the advancement of connected vehicle applications. Located in Alpharetta, Georgia, the IATL is equipped with every traffic controller in use in the United States today. Surrounding the IATL is a real-world connected vehicle environment on the streets of Alpharetta with more than 150 connected traffic signals, including CV2X. Connected vehicle applications being shown are emergency vehicle preemption, school zone and school bus safety, and the Travel Safely Connected Vehicle smartphone app. Now let's take a look at some of these applications in real life today. Everybody likes green lights, but what if they could also save lives? We're using connected vehicle technology to get emergency responders to the scene more quickly and more safely. Let's take a look at just how we're doing that.
The traffic preemption system here in Alpharetta has been installed on all of our traffic lights here locally and on all of our fire apparatus. We have a transmitter on our apparatus which allows us to basically get a green light as we're responding on incidents throughout the city. The preemption system changes the light directly in front of them, but it also starts staging the other lights ahead of them so that traffic flows better. We've transitioned from an older system that was infrared or line of sight to a newer system that's GPS based, and it seems to be working great. When you're gaining 10 to 12 seconds per traffic light on average, it really has an impact on the response time.
In a fire situation, 1 minute, the fire can spread throughout the rest of the building, whereas if we got there 90 seconds faster, we can contain it into a smaller portion of the house, cause less damage, less risk of life and injury and property. So when we turn the truck on, it usually takes us 10 to 15 seconds to get right to this light over here. And like I said earlier, it's a very busy road, Newport Ave. Kind of goes all throughout Quincy from the one highway exit to the next. And like I said, it's really hard for anyone coming north or south to see us coming out of this way. Even if our sirens are on, these walls kind of block the noise. So if the red light is there for them, then we don't have to be too concerned. We always have to stop because people are known to run red lights, but it is safer just to have the system making sure that we can make that turn.
Yeah, the first year it has been a huge improvement from where we were at, the system we were using. In the old system, part of our time was taken up every month. We would have to go do checks on the equipment and go look at it, and the fire department did that on top of the streets looking at their end. So that took up time for us. Getting out in the traffic trying to do that took up time. Now we have the ability that Traffic department, streets can look at the system and say everything's good, or they can call us to say, hey, we're seeing something. Have you guys noticed that you're having a problem at this intersection? So that's working great. Noticing that the calls, when they're going on calls now, that they can watch the lights change out in front of them. In the past, you had to be in a certain distance and line of sight to see that light change. Now it doesn't matter if you have traffic in front of you. If you're within that distance, the light's going to change. So no news is good news. When the crews aren't calling you to have a complaint on something, it's working good.
We've all got those intersections that we get to that are high traffic. Doesn't matter what time of day it is, it's high traffic. So what we can do is work with AI to build these customized paths, if you will, to allow that traffic to get clear. So, we might get there in the light screen, but if we have traffic, we can dig into the data and understand, okay, if we go to this traffic, 75% of the time, we know we're going to hit the next 2 intersections. Well, let's go ahead and clear those out beforehand. And so when we're getting there, that traffic, not only do we control the intersection, but the traffic's gone. By saving the time that we have, we're able to, you can look at it in the cost savings of, okay, if we need to put another fire station over here because of our response times, but now that we're able to, with the preemption system, cut those down, we don't necessarily need that fire station. And so we've looked at it kind of quantitatively that way as well from the city side, that, you pretty much spend whatever you want to on a fire station, but, we're talking, let's just say $5 million for a fire station. Well, we're saving that money because we can meet those standards, the response standards now, because the preemption system has allowed us that time savings, and it's only getting better as we continue to optimize the system.
So, that's giving us a bit of a feeling of, how emergency vehicle works, mainly from the fire department perspective.
Right.
But what's quite interesting is emergency vehicle preemption, from the older optical and sound solutions that were out there, was always very one-sided. Mm-hmm. It was really designed for the fire department and not for the traffic department. Right. Where what we're doing a lot differently is we've got a device that goes in that provides cellular communication, cabinet monitoring, remote front panel, all of the features that a traffic department would actually like to have, and they get it for free if the budget's coming from the fire department, obviously that, something that you actually want to maintain then. Or you can go with the older style system, which is they expect you to maintain it, but you get no benefit out of it. So that's where it's really changed, is actually there's a benefit for the traffic side and there's a benefit for the fire side. And actually there's a third benefit, which we'll get into later, which is, from the consumer or the public side for getting connected vehicle alerts and notifications.
Right. And I think, I don't know if we'll put the slide up, but kind of irrelevant. We say, why is it important? But to us, emergency vehicle preemption is critical. And the technology that we have and where we've got it deployed, we've got it tested, and they've done studies, and we're seeing, reduced, emergency response times. I think in the city of Marietta, and Chief Mulligan might have just kind of said it in the video, but I'll repeat it. On average, they're saving between 10 to 12 seconds per intersection, and I think they go through on average up to 6 intersections. So that's a minute of time right there, and that was even prior to it being in its peak state, where all of their drivers are really learning the system and how to do it. Every second matters, and so this is why we say, is this important? Yes. Is it critical? Absolutely. And we have the technology that can be deployed today that benefits your citizens. It's going to get those paramedics and fire workers there when they need to be there. And it's just something that we so believe in, and we found a way to pair that with benefits to the traffic department as well. So it's a pretty powerful solution, and something that we could spend a whole webinar talking about.
And the key thing actually is, what the fire chiefs were talking about there, which was, my mic is making a noise. Okay. One of the key things, sorry, I'm trying to redo my mic over here while we speak.
We love a live webinar.
So one of the key things is that it brings everybody else to a stop. And that's pretty key, because if you bring the rest of traffic to a stop and you give a green light, the actual vehicle driver, the fireman that's driving, or firewoman driving the vehicle, will actually be able to see that everybody else is brought to a stop, he's got control of that signal. So it's safer for him to go through. And that's what we do. And one of the key things that we do, I'm going to zoom into this picture over here, is we do preemption using both, number one, cellular communication, and number two, local radio. That allows us to provide redundant communication. So if one fails, you always have another one working. But what it does is with number one on the cellular side, it allows us to send that signal way in advance. And what that does is it gives the ability that we can make sure that the light is green before the emergency vehicle arrives. And it's even more important on transit signal priority because you want to send that signal a full cycle in advance to the traffic signal controller so it can utilize all of those new features that we've been talking about, because the traffic controllers have really advanced. They've become much, much better. A lot of them have got NTCIP 1211 now, which is Interlight and Econolight, and actually Siemens has done it in a certain way. But Interlight and Econolight have done that. And what that allows them to do is take an estimated time of arrival in from our vehicles or the transit vehicles and adjust the splits and offsets slightly so that you can guarantee a green light without taking the traffic signal controller out of coordination. So we don't affect traffic, and you can even do that with emergency vehicles as well when you configure it correctly. So the controllers have become so much better now that emergency vehicle preemption is something that's very easy to actually do now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Peter, I think, not just there's the coordination that we're able to talk about, but, we think about the impacts of a bus or a fire truck, a fire apparatus having to, slow down or brake or stop at a red light, and the delays in congestion that happen around that. So, we've got the benefit of being able to keeping those vehicles moving through those intersections is going to actually ultimately benefit everybody in the long run. So. Absolutely.
And one more thing just on the side of what we do differently is on the emergency vehicle preemption side, we are doing distributed intelligence. So what that means is all the intelligence is actually in the local device in the traffic signal cabinet. So no matter what happens, cellular communication goes down, whatever it is, the device has got all its rules put in there. So it can go over local radio. So if one thing breaks, if you're doing a central-based approach, if the cell network goes down, you lose preemption. If the CAD system in the emergency vehicle goes down, you lose preemption. If your fiber goes down, you lose preemption. And there's actually 5 separate failures, critical failures, that the whole system fails. And that's not something that you want to do, especially in an emergency vehicle preemption when it's life-saving technology. So that's an important thing that we do on, on the whole connected traffic signals for emergency vehicles.
Right. Yeah. I think let's move into our second, smart city solution. We're doing lots of things, but this is kind of a bread and butter for us. So looking at pedestrian safety in school zones. So we're doing several different things, but and we'll, perfect, by the numbers, we'll talk a little bit about kind of some of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing. 25,000 children are injured in school zones every year. Peter and I are both parents, and we want nothing more than the confidence that our children can get on and off a school bus or walk in and out of that school building without getting harmed. So having confidence that your school zone flashers are working when they're supposed to be working is critical as, as a parent and a citizen. So what we're doing, we've got a connected school beacon system. We've got some examples behind us, and I think we'll have a little bit of time to do a walk around, and we'll look at the video. But the power of having these smart school beacons and a system that we can actually remotely, monitor and control ensures that, one, your school beacons are on and working when they're supposed to be working, and you can easily make changes if you need to. I think COVID was the perfect example of the power of a system like this. At any given time, there was going to be school, the next day there wasn't going to be school, there was going to be alternating schedules, where you guys are, I imagine there's all kinds of school delays. And with the click of a button through our system, and you'll see that kind of how it works in our video, you can make those necessary changes. So Peter, I think we can tee up the video and then talk about the details.
Perfect. Karen, you want to switch just as I go into here.
So that was a look at how we're using preemption connected vehicle technology. Now we're going to look at how we're using that same technology to keep school kids safer.
When COVID happened, school signals and monitoring them became huge, right? In the past, people said, no, my school schedule never changes. All of a sudden, their schedules were changing almost on a daily basis. They were missing most of their staff. And we were able to basically accommodate them by updating schedules, by telling them what was working, by turning their school zones off and on. At the same time as we came out of COVID, we had just done a large project with driver feedback radars. And what we were seeing is, of course, everybody got back in their car like the day they turned 16. They're all speeding, they're driving like crazy. And we were able to use that with an early adopter customer who did that to say, hey, here's a real problem. Schools reopened and guys are going 50 miles an hour through the 15-mile-an-hour zone. We were really able to, we think, to help them get a handle on that, to understand how bad their problem really was. We're getting to them in advance and making their lives a lot easier and making things a lot safer at the same time, which is ultimately our goal, just keeping everybody safe.
I find that a lot of municipalities will spend several tens of thousands of dollars for these school beacons and put a 20-year-old technology push-button dial clock that's in there. And it's 20 years old. It's going to be 40 years old when they need to replace this thing again. So to use technology to make the school beacons work really the way they're intended to, the start-stop times, the 2-hour delays, the cancellations. I come across too many school districts and townships that flip them on in September, flip them off in June, and that's it. And that's not really how they're designed to work. Now with technology, we can use this right on our phone or our iPad and instantly make those changes to make these beacons work the way that they should work.
You log into Glance and you pick the device that you want to manage. All the programming is there. I literally could change a whole school district worth of start and stop times or days off with about 3 minutes worth of work. It's just an incredible tool.
We're using Applied Information's technology that they have. We've deployed it on one bus here in the city of Alpharetta. And they're using it to help develop the possibility of notifications to motorists before they might even become in sight contact of a school bus that's loading students. We had the knowledge of how a school bus operated. We knew exactly what needed to transpire, where things needed to be hooked up. So we took our technicians and worked with Applied's technician, and it was a quick install. It didn't take much just to get the pilot underway. It's extremely exciting. The possibilities of what this can do and what it already does, it's mind-boggling sometimes. Anywhere that we can gain and put ourselves out there and help develop what might be coming down the road, I think is a benefit for everyone.
This is really important because for now, the school children are probably one of the worst affected vulnerable road user category, with almost 25,000 injuries and 100 fatalities a year. Audi is committed to using technology to not only protect customers and drivers in our cars in the event of a collision or incidents around the road, but also to avoid these types of incidents altogether. And we do this first through alerts that are visual or audible inside the vehicle so drivers can react to that. But we also think that the same CV2X technology in the future could be used to create automatic maneuvers that the vehicles could take to prevent these types of issues if the driver so chooses or is unable to react. And of course, in the future, we see this as a crucial part of the roadmap towards automated vehicles, which will be able to manage many different types of situations on the road on their own.
Yeah, so I think that kind of gives you the power of what we're able to do with this technology now, and really impact and make a difference in saving lives. I mean, truly. You know, we kind of went some bigger picture there, and they talked about some of the school bus applications. We've actually really started to develop that out a whole lot further since we've created that video. So, you know, school bus priority. That's another area that we are able to, you know, when you've got your intersections connected with our technology, the same apparatus that would go into a emergency vehicle, we can throw into a school bus, and the types of savings that we're seeing from, I mean, impacts we didn't even think about. So fuel improvement, of course, we kind of thought about that, but I think about the stories they shared, and you saw Trey in that video, but he talks about, look, one of the worst times on a school bus and the most distracted that these school bus drivers are is when the school bus has to stop. Those kids get up and they kind of cause havoc, and they're, you know, bullying each other and whatever's happening, and they have to get the school bus settled back down before they can take off again. And so there's just impacts that we didn't even think about, getting to kids to school earlier so that they can eat breakfast. You know, here we've got an issue where that may be their only meal that some of these kids are having. And so the impacts that we're not aware of when we're thinking about developing technology are very real. So Peter, I don't know if you want to expand on any of the work
interesting.
that we're doing there.
You know, you know, the applications that we've done there. There were two different applications that we showed off, which was in the Audi was alerting the Audi that the school bus was stopped ahead. So when, you know, majority of all of the accidents are actually when children get onto and off the bus. The school bus is actually the safest mode of transportation, safer than any vehicle. And there's a lot of statistics that have shown that. The second one was alerting vehicles that they were actually speeding in a school zone. So you saw that bing, and you can see that it showed up that the vehicle was speeding in the school zone. Emily was talking about another feature that we implemented as part of that project, which came out after this video, which was we gave the school buses green lights. Interesting statistics there. They saved 10% on their diesel usage. They reduced their travel times by 18%. So what that helped with was actually the school bus driver shortage, where actually now they can get to more students quicker. And there were various other savings that they had as part of that, you know, other stories about, you know, kids always stood up at traffic signals, and then a lot of injuries happen when the bus pulls off again. So it just reduced a lot of stress and all the rest over there. So it's a great connected vehicle application. You know, that grew from actually the connected vehicle applications talking to the vehicles, then with the same technology we're doing with school bus, with bus priority and emergency vehicle, we added in for school buses.
Right. I know we keep saying this, we could spend a whole webinar on each of these individual applications and smart city kind of solutions. One thing I want to mention, especially in this territory, is we're utilizing the same technology in school beacons for snow flashers, right? So we've got, you know, several in the Northeast deployed.
And the snow flashes for the parking. Generally
Right.
speaking, you'll flash some beacons and that you're not allowed parking in the city. And it's a blue, at least in the Boston area, it's a blue light that flashes on.
Right.
And we can remotely control those.
Right.
And it's just a great application there.
Yeah. So we're willing to think creatively with you and meet the kind of the needs that you guys have. So if you've got questions or ideas, definitely reach out to us, pop something in the chat.
There was one
and we'll
question that
connect.
did come in, which was, you know, do you guys have Eagle controllers? Yes, we do. We only work with the Eagle controllers that have the Ethernet communication. So as you go further and further back, there were serial communication Eagle controllers. We can do emergency vehicle preemption and transit signal priority on those. The remote communication side, obviously you need an Ethernet communication there. So that's kind of the level that we've gone down. And there's, I can get into all the details of the different versions and software and all the rest, but if you've got further questions on that, we can set up another call where we can bring in the experts on the Eagle controllers.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, Peter, that kind of tees us up to talk about, you know, our overarching connected vehicle travel safely application. So we'll show a video as well to talk about the details. But, you know, what we've done is we've created a app that can run on your cell phone, so anybody really has the power to have connected vehicle technology. Sometimes we think about, oh, you need the latest and greatest vehicles, but what we've done is we're communicating with controllers, with school beacons, with any of our smart city solutions. We can get it to talk to citizens' phones. So we'll look at kind of what that looks like, and then we'll talk about the types of communication that it's outputting.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for teeing this up.
This same connected vehicle technology is available for vulnerable road users and motorists on the Travel Safely smartphone app. Let's take a look.
Red light.
Travel Safely, the smartphone application, allows a motorist to directly interface with the traffic controller or the cabinet, receive the signal phasing and timing information. They're seeing the indications at the intersection, but sometimes as you're coming up to an intersection, you don't have a great line of sight to the signal indications. So having that supplementary information in your vehicle, warning you if you're about to run through a red light.
Red light.
And I think the applications with pedestrian and cyclist safety is going to be game-changing. Getting pedestrians and bicyclists to use the app, getting vehicle drivers to use the app, and then once that is being used, those interactions will become more transparent. So it just gives the driver or the pedestrian or the cyclist just so much more information that they can make good, safe decisions with.
How the Travel Safely smartphone connected vehicle app complements the feature from Tesla that recognizes traffic signals and alerts you when the signal is changed.
Get ready for green.
Travel Safely will also warn you if you are about to run a red light.
Red light. Speeding in school zone. Speeding in school zone.
So here we're coming up to a signal and we're the second in line. Travel Safely still sees the red light, and so does the Tesla indicator here.
Get ready for green.
And because we were the second car back, the Tesla did not alert us with the ding, but Travel Safely did give us the get ready for green notification. We're coming around the corner. Travel Safely sees that the light is red. And when we come into view, the Tesla sees it also.
This is Travel Safely running in the Ford dashboard.
Get ready for green.
There's the Ford speakers, the Ford dashboard telling you to get ready for green.
Red light.
And there's the Ford dashboard telling you that you're about to run a red light. So this is the Travel Safely in the Ford dashboard in a work zone.
As you can see, we're making connected vehicle technology available today and helping to make a safer commute for all. Thanks for joining us today from the IATL. I'm Emily Stanecki.
Okay, so
we're not actually wrapped.
We're not finished, but
no, there was a lot of things that you got to see in the video, and Peter, I think you can digest them a little bit further for everybody. But the Travel Safely application is something that comes with our technology at no additional cost to the city, the agency, the locals who are deploying this. And I think, I like to say that up front because it's just so important to us to make this available that we don't charge for travel safely technology.
And it was the whole chicken and egg problem. So, no one wanted to deploy this technology in emergency vehicles or in their own vehicles, Audi and all the rest of them, because, we developed Travel Safely 6-7 years ago. And now that we've got the deployment out there, now we're starting to share. And we don't say everybody has to use Travel Safe. We actually share the source code with cities so they can embed it, like the City of Houston embedded it into their own local City of Houston app. We're now sharing the same data with Waze, so we can get connected to all the Waze users. So when there's a school zone and you're driving through it, it actually pops up in Waze, or there's an emergency vehicle, or your traffic signal goes dark, it redirects you through Waze. So we're adding all these features and functionality to whichever way we can get that information out to the users. Emily, we've got about 15 minutes. What I'd like to do is we need to talk about CV2X Direct, but we had a question on makes and models that we support. What we'll do is we'll jump into the remote camera and we'll just walk through here and show some of the traffic signals that we're getting connected to. The session is getting recorded, and we will be able to share a link. We'll actually upload it to YouTube as well, so you guys will be able to get an access to this recording and share it with whoever you like.
Exactly. And once you're on the YouTube page, there is a plethora of other videos and details about our solutions or webinars more in depth. But more than anything, we would love for you all to connect with us, and we can do kind of a one-on-one session. Bring in your coworkers, and we can do something, that you guys are, geared towards what you guys are most interested in. So I think with that, we'll do a little bit of a walk around and give you guys a tour of our IATL and the different types of controllers and things that we've got here. And maybe even we'll pop over to our office so you guys can see. I think, one thing that's critical to know about Applied Information right now is that we have the ability to ship all this technology today. In the time of COVID, where a lot of people were impacted with materials and things like that, we've got stock on shelf and we're ready to go. So, but what you can see is we've got all the different types of traffic controllers here. For example, we're looking at this ATC controller, TrafficWare, connected to our units. We've got,
excuse the screen. We've got,
scoot on down here. Yeah, this is a working lab, so we've got all kinds of engineering stuff tied up everywhere. But peak controllers, we've got, Peter,
and what we do with this is we integrate to every single one of them. So you'll see there's our box sitting on top of the peak controller. We are bringing up the remote front panel. We are communicating to the peak controller through Ethernet, or for instance, the TrafficWare 980 controller. Each one of these has got different protocols. So the important thing is we have to be able to interface to all of them because they all run different protocols. So, this ATC controller from TrafficWare actually runs a different protocol than the Cubic one. And then we've got, Siemens, or this one's actually running D4 software. This is an Interlake controller here. And then on the other side, we've got an Econolite EOS software system. We've got McCain controllers. We've got Cobalts as well. There's normally an ASC3 sitting there, but they've got it in another lab, and a Siemens controller there. So we've got all of these different style of controllers in the lab.
Yeah.
So yes, we interface to all of them and all the different protocols, and we can share a little bit more information as well on that.
Peter, should we just take a pop next door so they see the office? You want to talk about connected vehicle?
Okay, let's,
we're on the mobile camera. We'll just give you guys a sneak peek since we can do this. So like we mentioned, we're here in Alpharetta, Georgia, just north of the city of Atlanta. That's our headquarters office. We've got guys sitting here, we're getting ready for a holiday party, but you can just have a look. We've got all of this stock ready to go, being packed, shipping out to customers. But it's an exciting day here. We've got our holiday party, and this is where we do kind of our final assembly and testing out of this office space. So.
And the interesting thing is we have over 6 months of stock sitting on the shelves. So no matter, over 2,500 waiting to ship out. And that's been a key thing behind our company, is trying to get all of this ready so that we can deliver tomorrow. So if you've got a city of 1,000 traffic signals, we can deliver it probably in a couple of weeks.
Right, exactly. It just becomes so critical. As we know, materials are difficult for folks to get a hold of. That's something that we're able to provide today. So yeah, I think what we'll do next is wrap up talking just a little bit about the differences in connected vehicle technology, direct versus network. Peter, I joke, he's one of my leading, he's our leading expert in the industry. Peter, I think is wanting to, we'll look briefly over here. I'll let Peter talk through it.
So
looking at the equipment, that may be.
Yes, now you can see my jersey again. So we've obviously got, equipment that goes into a traffic cabinet, and that does all the connected vehicle technology, where you've got, a unit that talks to the traffic signal controller. We get the signal phasing and timing information from the traffic signal controller. So this will bring back all of the SPAT data, and then we are able to send that out over the cellular network, straight over a cell network antenna. We've got 4G antennas on top of the traffic cabinet. And if you're wanting to then send out the CV2X, or you've heard of DSRC, we have a dual mode, dual active. DSRC is going away. All the car manufacturers are not doing any of that. But the CV2X, what we did was we deployed a huge number of these DSRC radios and all the rest, and found out one of the biggest problems is you can put this technology out there, but you can't maintain it because you've got to have a bucket truck to go and repair them. So, the typical style thing is, and I know it's on the ground here, but this is the typical style unit, DSRC unit that goes on top of the pole. This one in particular is DSRC. What that means is it's become a boat anchor because the DSRC's been, discontinued. So everything's CV2X. So what we did was we put everything on a small little cabinet on the pole that you put, 8 to 10 feet up so that you can maintain and manage it. We've got the antennas on top of the pole where you need them. So the antennas basically broadcast these messages out. And one of the key things that we did differently to everyone is we know that technology changes. So inside of our box, we've got hot swappable modems. And what I mean by that is this is a DSRC, this is a CV2X. They are slotted devices. So when you buy equipment, you expect it to be in there for 20 years. I guarantee you cellular technology is going to change in the next 20 years. So you can pop this unit out and put the new units in. And that's one of the key things that we do on our warranty of hardware is we warrant all of our devices on a permanent basis. No matter what you do, as long as you have connectivity and support with us, you can send back our unit, we'll replace it for free. No questions asked, nothing like that, even if it's a knockdown. So, as we walk down here, you'll see a number of our school zones. So these are the school zone controllers. I've got the lids off these units, but this is a typical school zone unit. And normally it's got the lid over here. And this controls school zone flashes and pedestrian crosswalks. It's got the cell technology. It's got a battery, so you can even determine if there's a failure. I love this little piece of artwork over here, which is, we replace the cell modems for free because we know how it changes. So 2G to 3G, 3G to 4G, we've got Wi-Fi in some of them. And then there was DSRC in PC5. Now we know DSRC's gone, but the CV2X radios are there. And you got 5G and 6G and 7G when it all comes out. Any one of our devices, we guarantee cellular communication. So it's a key aspect behind what we do. So we'll walk back to the main little section, and I've actually got a nice little, if you bear with me just one more down to here. Excuse all the wine glasses and everything. We have a party happening soon.
I tell you, we have no fun.
But this is one of the traffic cabinets that came back to us. And if you have a look there, it is totally flattened. We replaced the unit in here for free. Came back to us. I wouldn't let the guys send it out. You can see that, totally mangled up, and the unit was flattened. The funny thing was, I looked at the electronics and I said, I think this might be working. And the guys actually turned it on. Everything worked from the electronics. The box is totally broken. But what it meant was our technology will continue to work. And it's just I couldn't let them throw that unit away or reuse it, because that was
Put
that
it
was
in
mine.
our museum.
Yes, it'll get framed at some stage.
Well, I think that kind of summarizes the overview that we wanted to go through with you all today. As we mentioned, we'd love to connect further and talk about what we can do with you as a city, and bring in any of your coworkers or folks that may not have been able to make it today. The recording will be shared, so you guys will all get a link to that. But if there's any other questions, feel free to pop them into the chat and we'll get back to you. But I just want to thank our partners, Tacel, for getting this information out there to you all. We look forward to this partnership with them, being the boots on the ground in your region and the familiar faces, and helping bring this smart city technology to where you guys are. So
I'm not sure if there are any more questions. I don't see any questions. So it's been an absolute pleasure presenting all of this to you, and I want to thank the Tacel team, and thank all of you for taking some time to actually come and listen to what we're doing. You can hear we're really passionate about this. It's really, really, really cool technology, and we'd love to come chat to you guys, bring you in here. You are welcome to come to Georgia anytime. It's a little bit warmer. We're about 22 degrees Celsius today. It is really nice right now. It's a freak, because normally it's a lot colder than that, but you're welcome to come anytime you want. We do training sessions here because we've got equipment from all the different manufacturers and all the intersections. We would love to host you here.
absolutely.
So with that, let's hand it over to Gabor to close this out.
Yeah, thank you so much, Emily and Peter, for this great session. In addition to what you guys just presented, I'd like to say that I had a great opportunity to visit your facility back in August, and I was very impressed with the level of professionalism that you guys perform on a daily basis. And yeah, I look forward to preach the gospel in the future towards our clients, and bring more help onto their desk with your solutions. And I would like to thank you. To all of you participating in today's session. And last but not least, happy holiday season. You guys enjoy the party today, and we'll see you guys in next year, 2023. Thank you again.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye, guys. Cheers.